Episode number 8 of the second season of X-Men 97 has finally arrived, bringing us directly back to Unsaba Noor's storyline, at the exact moment where we see him chatting with Rogue, who appears sad about having lost someone very important to her. That person is none other than Gambit, whom she loved with all her strength, but whose fate separated them. Now, the only thing repeating in her mind are Unsaba Noor's words when he told her that love causes pain. But she responded by telling him that, even so, she wished for him to experience love at some point in his life, because there is nothing like feeling that way, even knowing that one day it will end. After this scene from the past, we jump to the present, where we can see Apocalypse operating the machine to bring Gambit back to life so that Cable's team can later find the remains and keep us updated with the plot. In the following scene, we see Rogue wearing a spectacular dress, but dancing alone, appearing somewhat sad for a moment, until Gambit appears and their lips join in a kiss, allowing them to dance properly and feel that they are finally together. The moment is extremely tender until Gambit changes and his skin turns completely dark. But the strangest thing is that on Rogue's hand, there is a small spot that rapidly spreads across her entire body. It is here that we discover the title of this episode, which is Dead Man's Hand, formally beginning with Rogue waking up in her bed, sweaty and somewhat unstable after that nightmare. Since she couldn't get back to sleep, Rogue goes up to the office, where she finds her teammates playing poker and tries to completely forget about her nightmare by chatting with them and watching Beast strip Nightcrawler of everything he has in a game. Unfortunately, happiness doesn't last forever. A few seconds later, the fire alarm goes off. On the scanner, Beast can see that a massive bomber equipped with ionic jammers is approaching the building, possessing enough power to reduce them to ashes. The professor tries to communicate with them, but it is a futile attempt, so Beast immediately activates the island's defenses, designed to safeguard everyone's lives. With the press of a single button, the building emits a massive electromagnetic field that will bring down anything that approaches past the coastline. The surprise is that the aircraft not only breaches the electromagnetic field, but also enters their system. A few seconds later, we can see on the screen that it is Cable who has come to have a brief talk with them and deliver the bad news regarding what they found. The first thing the X-Men see when the plane's cargo bay opens is a huge container holding Apocalypse's corpse. Immediately following this, Rogue receives a clue, a burned card found at the site of the murder. Thus, the plan is simple. The professor will use Cerebro to locate him, and the team will go after him, not to assassinate him as Cable is accustomed to doing on his missions, but so Rogue can enter and free him from the prison he is in, just as she did with Archangel so long ago. The professor agrees to help them under one condition. This will be an X-Men rescue mission, so he will not tolerate brutal acts or the tactics Cable is used to employing. Rogue cannot believe any of this and clings to the pessimistic side of the story, but Nightcrawler tries to encourage her. Despite everything that has happened, Remy is back, and they have the opportunity to do everything in their power to get him back. As soon as the professor puts on the helmet, he travels directly to New Orleans, where the celebration of Mardi Gras and the costumes provide the perfect occasion for someone like Gambit to go unnoticed. However, what he did not expect was to be fooled by a decoy while the real one attacked him from behind, managing to place his hand on his face. The moment Gambit places his hand on Charles's face, a dark energy flows completely through him and expels him from Cerebro, leaving him thoroughly shocked by the level of darkness he now possesses. The only good news is that they managed to discover where he is and where he is heading. But at the same time that is happening, Gambit is holding a meeting with his old colleagues, who received an invitation but have no idea why they are there. Robert shows him an envelope, and Belladonna pulls out the exact same envelope. But before they can engage in a fight, Gambit appears and tells them he was hoping to leave them more impressed with his new look. Robert asks his brother what on earth happened to him. Gambit narrates to him how he died and how a monster subsequently pulled him from his slumber to bring him back with far more power than he possessed before. But most importantly, he now has a new purpose that includes them. With just a wave of his hands, Gambit places a card on the neck of each of his old colleagues, and they beg him not to murder them. However, he never had that intention, revealing to them that death is not what they think, it is evolution. 2 seconds later, the cards enter their bodies, and they begin undergoing a sort of transformation as their skin turns dark. Amid everyone's screams, we return to Cable's plane, which is heading toward Gambit's last known location, with the plan remaining unchanged. Get Rogue as close as possible and avoid killing anyone, since they are now operating under the jurisdiction of the X-Men. On the other side of the plane, Cable receives a visit from his parents, who want to have a heart-to-heart talk with him about how he is feeling and how he has been handling things since meeting them as a child, as well as asking him why he didn't try to look for them afterward. Cable says that time always finds a way to pull them apart, and although he wanted to, he knew he shouldn't mess with the timelines. However, they can be a family now if he wishes. As they approach their destination, Psylocke attempts a scan and realizes there are no normal minds around them. After this, Jean makes an attempt and discovers a massive void in people's minds, as if all their humanity had somehow vanished. It is here that Gambit appears with his new brethren on flying motorcycles and unleashes a hail of cards that strike the aircraft from all directions, and it won't be long before he manages to bring it down. Belladonna and Robert board the plane, slicing through the metal like butter with their new dark energy-infused weapons, and the battle on board commences. At that moment, Cyclops tells Rogue to skip the introductions and find Gambit immediately, as she is the only one who can put an end to all this. Outside the vessel, Jean tries to use her powers to keep the plane airborne, but she is attacked by several soldiers, whom Archangel won't be able to hold off for very long. When Sunspot takes a direct hit, she has to use her powers to save him, causing her to lose control of the ship as it begins to plummet. Rogue reaches the cargo bay and attempts to get through to Remy, telling him that Apocalypse poisoned his mind, but that she can help him. At that moment, she removes her gloves and begins searching the area step by step until she hears the voice of the man she loves, telling her that it's true. Life really does flash before your eyes when you're about to die. And when that began happening to him, the only thing he could see was her, looking as beautiful as she does right now. A few seconds later, Gambit steps out from the shadows, and Rogue cannot believe his current appearance. She tries to place her hand on his face, but nothing happens. However, when Gambit places his finger on Rogue's forehead, his powers do work, causing her to lose consciousness. At that moment, Jean informs the team that she has lost contact with Rogue's mind and that they must find her immediately. Nightcrawler teleports to the cargo bay and catches sight of Gambit trying to carry her away. He attacks him, but Gambit throws a homing card at him that pursues him no matter where he leaps, striking him directly in the ribs. The card continues to emit the same dark energy until Nightcrawler loses consciousness, prompting Gambit to take him as well, leaving behind a deck of explosive cards that destroy a large portion of the plane to the point where it is beyond saving, and nothing can prevent it from crashing into the city. Jean and Psylocke risk their lives to reduce the aircraft's speed, but even together, they lack the strength to keep a vessel of this size airborne. Realizing they are doomed, Cyclops begs his son to unleash his power to help them prevent this tragedy. Before the plane is completely destroyed, Cable releases a massive surge of energy. They manage to land safely, but have no choice but to abandon their beloved ship, which will surely be claimed by X-Factor. The rest of the team catches the news, and Storm tells them they will leave the school in Colossus's care, as their friends need them, and it is time to fight for their own. Back with Rogue, she awakens in an ancient mansion where Nightcrawler tells her to get ready, as a dinner is being held in her honor and she won't want to be late. Although Rogue tries to communicate with him, his red eyes reveal that he is not in his right mind and is almost certainly being controlled by Gambit. Thus, she decides to play along, and when she faces him, she asks why he sent his ex to kidnap her, only to put on this whole show. Remy asks her why she is working with Cable, knowing full well that Cable is trying to kill him, but Rogue explains that they were only trying to help him. That was what she attempted when she touched his face, though it didn't work, and she has no idea why. Remy tells her that he now has a new purpose and wants her to be part of it. He didn't crawl out of the grave to repeat past mistakes, but he needs her by his side in this new chapter. It is a second chance for them, and to demonstrate his trust, he plans to show her his hand. It turns out, Apocalypse was not so different from them. He too met a woman who broke his heart. A priestess of ancient Egypt managed to convince him to yield a large portion of his power to her. But as soon as Apocalypse gave in to her demands, she betrayed him and used that power to punish him for what he had done to her people. Afterward, she simply disappeared. But Gambit knows the location where she hid for so long, and reaching that power is now the purpose, keeping him alive. The locals know her as external, and the relic resting within her will render Rogue immortal, just like him, allowing them to be together for the rest of eternity. As husband and wife, this is the second chance he was speaking of, and he desires to share it with no one else but her. In the following scene, we see that his subjects have prepared a wedding, and Rogue appears once more, wearing a spectacular dress, for Nightcrawler to join them in matrimony. But before the ceremony, Gambit takes a dagger and cuts his hand, making sure to thoroughly drench it in his blood, which will be used to invoke External so she may bless their union. However, when Gambit points out that he has come for her jewel of power, the mythical sorceress laughs and tells him it was forged in the very fires of creation. She is worthy of all that and more. Nevertheless, Gambit interrupts her, calling her nothing more than a vile thief who took advantage of a man's love and does not deserve to bear that jewel. Enraged, the sorceress attempts to attack him, but Gambit pierces her with an energy blade, reducing her to dust and taking the jewel as a gift for his future wife. But Rogue does not approve of any of this, and fortunately, a few seconds later, the X-Men's jet arrives as the entire team steps in to put an end to the madness. Cyclops tries to reason with him, stating it doesn't have to become a full-scale battle. But Gambit is going all in, and his cards are far superior to theirs, so he has no intention of backing down and sends his men into combat. At that moment, we see Jean utilize her power to round up several of Gambit's subjects, while Storm hurls a massive electrified wave at them, defeating them in an instant. However, Nightcrawler remains and single-handedly manages to defeat several teammates by teleporting from place to place, ensuring the rest are helpless by taking them far away from that location. Anyone possessive of enough strength to defeat him ends up transported to the swamp miles away, and a moment later, he returns to repeat the process until there is no one left to stop Gambit. Gambit then embeds the jewel into Rogue's chest, causing her to collapse as it merges with her body. From the plane, Charles uses his mind to attack him, and although Gambit transforms his trusty staff into a scythe of death, Charles succeeds in pulling him out of his own physical body and bringing him into another version of this realm where his powers are not strong enough to prevail. Or so Charles foolishly believed, as the darkness within Gambit is not only sufficient, but overwhelming, leaving the old man defeated within his own mind, something that had never happened before, not since he faced Apocalypse himself. Charles gives everything he has in a final stand, summoning armor, but Gambit succeeds in defeating him. At the climax of the battle, Charles abandons the idea of defeating him and instead focuses on freeing him, using his power to subdue the evil persona and reaching out to the real Remy inside, who longs to break free. In that instant, he spots a hand reaching out from Gambit's body, so he grasps it and helps him escape. Outside, Nightcrawler is finally defeated after the entire team launches a synchronized attack. However, that is the precise moment Cable seizes to make his move upon realizing Gambit is exposed, ordering his teammates to subdue the X-Men. The first to react is Psylocke, who holds an energy blade to Cyclops' neck, taking him hostage while Archangel takes to the skies to keep watch long enough for Cable to carry out his task. Cable approaches slowly and draws his weapon with the sole intent of executing Gambit. And although Jean threatens to control his mind and stop him, he possesses a latent power that prevents her from doing so. Inside Gambit's mind, Charles has finally managed to pull Remy out and expose the true version of Apocalypse that was controlling him, who tells Charles that, after all, he failed to learn his lesson and should never have stood in his way. Apocalypse reminds him of what he did to Magneto, declaring that this time he will show no mercy. He is the only one who always prevails, no one else. Outside, the X-Men make a swift move with the help of Sunspot and Jubilee, who are still unaccustomed to Cable's lethal tactics, managing to free Cyclops at the exact right moment. Together, they unleash a blast of energy, successfully halting the execution. Although Charles managed to pull Remy out of the darkness, Apocalypse drags him back in, and not only that, begins absorbing Charles as well, making it appear as though the villain will claim victory. But suddenly, a massive beam of light appears, saving the Professor, originating from Rogue's hand, who seconds later enters their minds using the power she received from External to pull Gambit out of Apocalypse's body, and subsequently use him as a conduit to destroy what remains. In the end, the human version of Gambit returns to them, but the Professor immediately reaches out to inform them that they must return home as soon as possible. Thus, Nightcrawler, having now regained control of his mind, asks them to gather together before teleporting them away, leaving behind the aircraft and X-Force. In the lab, Beast analyzes him, and although his vital signs are stable, his neuronal activity is quite strange. It is here that the Professor reveals to them that Rogue did not manage to completely eradicate Apocalypse, Rather, he is now contained within Remy's mind, and unless they act quickly, he will take control of him once more. The episode ends with Cable furious about everything that transpired. Not only did they fail in their mission and lose their beloved plane, but 2 seconds later, X-Factor appears, and Val Cooper offers them a temporary truce, presenting a card depicting a burning tower and telling them that both sides might get what they are searching for, leaving us with further questions regarding the future of these teams and the rebirth of Apocalypse. So be sure to leave a like and a comment, and see you next week.